Hey everyone, welcome to my presentation. This presentation is on Schiotz tonometer, which is a type of indentation tonometer that comes under the procedure of indirect tonometry. So using this tonometer you can measure the IOP or intraocular pressure of your eye. So this is measured mainly by measuring the depth produced on the surface of the cornea by a load of a known weight. So it is mainly based on the fact that the plunger will be indenting a soft eye more than a hard eye. So which means that the more the plunger indents the cornea, higher will be the scale reading and lower will be the IOP. The indentation of corneal surface is indirectly proportional to the IOP. Now let's go to the parts of Schiotz tonometer. Here you can see the scale. This is the needle which will be pointing towards the reading, and here is the additional weight 7.5 gram and 10 gram. So in the Schiotz tonometer you will have initially placed a 5.5 gram weight. So if your reading shows 4 or less than 4, you have to add this additional weight even after placing the 7.5 gram here in the plunger. So this is the plunger which will be holding the weight. Even after placing the 7.5 gram, if your reading is still less than 4, then you have to add 10 gram. So this is called lever arm, where the short arm will be resting over the plunger and the long arm will be acting as the needle. So now comes the finger rest. So you can also say it as holder or handle. So this is where you have to hold the instrument here, and this is the foot plate, where this is the part where you will be placing this part over the surface of the cornea. Now let's go to the procedure. The first is calibration. So calibration is the main procedure. Before doing the procedure, you have to check or you have to calibrate your instrument. If your instrument is having any kind of instrumental error, then your IOP will be showing different. So you have to calibrate your instrument first so that it shows your IOP correctly, or it shows the actual IOP of the patient. So you have to, there will be one test block where you have to place your foot plate over that test block, which is a polished metal, and then you have to check if your scale reading is more than 0, 1, 2 or 3, anything, then you have to correct it, or you have to repair your instrument first, or you have to check the instrument, and then after repairing your instrument, if you find out that after calibration you found out that the needle is in 0, then it means your instrument is having no error. Now after that, after calibration, you have to do serialization of the instrument. As you know, you will be putting the foot plate over the cornea, so there is a huge chances of transferring infections from other person to the another patient. So you have to avoid that, you have to sterilize after testing each and every patient. So you can sterilize it using spirit or isopropyl alcohol. Now before doing the procedure, you have to anesthetize the patient with local anesthetic drugs. So you can use 4% lignocaine or 0.5% paracaine. Now after few minutes of instilling paracaine or lignocaine or any kind of anesthetic drugs, you have to make the patient lie in a bed, and then you have to tell the patient to look up at a fixation target, or you can also ask the patient to raise his thumb and use it as a fixation target. Then after that, you have to separate the patient's eyelid and you have to place the foot plate over the cornea. Then you have to measure the scale reading. Now if the scale reading shows 4 or less than 4, then you have to add the other weights or those additional weight. As I told you before, the additional weights were 7.5 gram or 10 gram. It will be again added to the plunger, and then after that you have to repeat the whole procedure again. Now for converting those gram into the IOP in mmHg, you have to use this conversion table. So what you will be using is Friedenwald conversion table. So I'll show you how to convert it. Suppose your instrument is heavy using 5.5 gram and your scale reading shows 5.5. So your scale reading shows 5.5 and you are using 5.5 gram, which means you are not adding any additional weight. So your IOP will be 15.9 mm mercury. And suppose you are using additional weight, means even without putting any additional weight, your reading is 4 or less than 4 and your reading shows 5.5, then it means you will be using 23.8 will be your IOP. 23.8 mmHg will be your IOP. Okay. Now what are the advantages? So the main advantages is it is usually very portable and it is a simple technique, no need of any power supply. As you know, the other types of tonometry, which includes application tonometry, needs slit lamp, and slit lamp usually requires power supply. So in this tonometry you won't be using any kind of power supply, and it is not even battery operated. So it is a very advantage for this procedure. So usually in health camps you can use this instrument for checking IOP of patient. And the last is reasonably priced. So it is not very expensive as the slit lamp, but it is reasonably priced. So here I come to the end of the discussion for this presentation. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and I hope you got some knowledge about Schiotz tonometry. Thank you for watching my presentation. Thank you.